Well, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I know you're a busy person.
Uh, Absolutely.
So the way I found out about you, I actually saw your TED Talk video. This was probably about 3 years ago. I thought this was amazing, and
Thank you
everybody
so
needs to hear this story.
much.
Um, you also have a book coming up, or is it already out?
I have two books that are already published. My Vibrational Healing book and The Soul of Purpose was my most recent one. It came out in January 2021.
Perfect. Okay, we'll go ahead and put a link to your books on the description so people can
Okay.
go and buy it. Where can they buy it?
Amazon, you can click the links on my website, jayajayamyra.com, but it's available from any bookseller worldwide.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I feel like any questions I have for you, it's going to be completely lost because I just want to hear your story, which is an amazing, amazing story. And I believe 100% of that TikTok you had. Tell us about your story, please, from the beginning.
Okay, so from the beginning, that's kind of tricky, but I can give you the kind of short and quick version. I actually started my career as a research scientist, which I really enjoyed. I always thought it was super cool to be looking for cures for diseases, looking to like make the world a better place. It's something I had always dreamed of doing. And then I got sick. I got very sick. My hands started becoming numb. I started getting chronic pain. I was diagnosed with pretty intense fibromyalgia, and it destroyed my life. I ended up losing my job. I had to go out on disability. I had to declare bankruptcy. My house was foreclosed on. I even became separated from my two young children at the time because I wasn't able to take care of them. So this disease absolutely ruined my life. But the icing on the cake was not really that I lost everything. It was that nothing Western medicine did made me better. In fact, it made me worse.
Right.
Any medication, any of the modalities that they tried to introduce me to just made everything worse. So eventually I just said, screw all of this. I walked away and I found more natural, holistic approaches, including Ayurveda, mindfulness, meditation, aspects of spiritual practice, which helped me to completely 100% recover my health naturally. So today I do not have a trace of fibromyalgia or any illness at all. Thanks to mindfulness, meditation, some dietary changes, but really the mindfulness and meditation was about 85 to 90% of it.
What did they say, by the way, doctors, when the medicine wasn't really affecting you? Did they have any explanation?
At that point in time, in like the mid 2000s, fibromyalgia was still one of those things that doctors did not understand near as well as they do today. But they didn't really have a lot of explanation. They just said, yeah, it's going to work on some people. It's not going to work on other people. They basically said, just do whatever I wanted to, because they didn't have any other recourse for me. I mean, even like basic things like Tylenol and Advil didn't even sit well with me at the time. Like basic over-the-counter.
Do they have better medicine today for fibromyalgia, or is it still the same?
I have no idea, honestly. I really try to go a non-pharmaceutical approach with most things. I try to find more natural, holistic modalities or herbs or things of that nature that I think can be beneficial before I will approach a doctor to get a medication for something.
I love your statement that happy life gives you a better, healthy life, which I believe in 100%.
Yes, absolutely.
Most of the days people, we go through life going to 9 to 5 jobs, and we don't really have time to think about this stuff. Regular people like me, what can we do like daily basis? Like, I know for me, like I have this thing, I don't even watch scary movies, because I really do think when you put something like that into your mind, your body has no idea if it's actually happening to you or if this is on the TV. So I intentionally, don't watch those movies.
You and
my
me
friends,
both. I've never watched a horror movie or a scary movie in my life. I refuse to as well. And people think I'm very strange for that as well. But yes, I believe that what we consume, whether it's food or media or content, whatever is going into us is going to impact our emotions and our mindset. And fear is one of the most destructive things for health and well-being and emotional stability that there is. It is actually a gateway to everything negative. So I do a lot with my work to help people alleviate and overcome fear. And I'm definitely not going to introduce something into my lifestyle that would induce it. And scary movies falls onto that spectrum. So I'm really grateful that you just said that, because that's not something that I have found other people to say. And I commend you for that. I think that's actually huge. So you said, what can normal people do? By the way, I also run a communications agency. So I work with clients all the time. I have a very busy schedule as well. And I can tell you, small, simple daily routines go a really long way for creating a healthy mind and keeping you mentally and emotionally happy. The thing about the mind is that it does crave for some level of stability in order for you to be happy. So the more things that you can do on a daily basis that are bringing a little bit of peace, comfort, a little bit of joy into your life, even if they're super simple, just by doing them consistently every single day is going to change your mindset. For me, one of the things I do is start my day with a cup of tea. And I know that sounds like super simple, but it's like a daily ritual. I'll have a tea and maybe like a little scone or a macaron or something with it, and take some time to sit and watch the sunrise or contemplate, think about the course of my day. Tea also has compounds in it like L-theanine, which will actually help focus your mind. It will help you to be more relaxed and more calm, even though tea has caffeine. And it's going to actually increase your ability to focus and be productive. So that one small daily morning routine, it helps with focus. It helps with relaxation and calm. It's also just one of those things that I know I can come to each and every single day that is like just for me. That's important. Create routines that are just for you, not for your spouse, not for your kids, not for your pets. You got to create some daily routines that are like literally just for you. Maybe it's a morning routine, a nighttime routine, something that you do in the middle of your workday to take a few minutes. But just by taking even 5 to 10 minutes every single day for yourself to do something consistently, you're going to see it has a pretty massive impact on your mindset.
Wow, amazing. What do you think about people constantly watching news and social media?
Social media can spread a lot of positivity, but I find a lot of times people use it as a way to just kill time and keep the mind constantly active. And I think that we need to learn how to slow down and stop and train the mind to literally be still and be quiet, to not have this need for constant repetition or stuff going on in the background. It's kind of the same thing. Like if you have music in the background or the TV playing when you're trying to work or you're doing something else, like this constant stimulation coming in is actually preventing the body from going into a self-healing mechanism. So learning how to spend time in quiet, in solitude, not even just like meditating, but like where you're really just focusing on the breath, focusing on being quiet, it's really, really hard. It's really, really hard for most people. And even when I started doing this, I could practically not even sit still at all. I was antsy. I wanted to get up and do things. I wanted to have some form of distraction in the mind. So I would recommend that if someone finds like that they're obsessively looking at things on social media, take 15 minutes and see if you can literally sit and do nothing, not think about anything, not move, not get off your couch or your chair, just literally like plant yourself in one place and see if you can sit and do nothing and watch this wonderful individual experiment that you have going. And I bet it's going to be very, very entertaining actually, because it's really hard to do nothing. It's a lot harder than it sounds.
So just sit on your chair, do nothing. Can you think of something? Like you're not
No,
supposed to
that's the whole thing. You have to like make your mind try to be quiet. Every time you try to think about something, you go back to this place of nothing. So if you find that it's like super hard or super uncomfortable, like it just makes you feel like you're going to crawl out of your skin, that's probably a sign that looking at social media or TV or having something going on in the background is a way to distract yourself from some level of inner pain or discomfort that you're feeling. And really, like these emotional wounds that we all carry inside of us, like that is really the root of a lot of illness. Like when these emotional wounds live inside of us and they do not get healed over time, they're going to eventually express themselves in the physical body with physical health problems and manifestations, sometimes as drastic as things like fibromyalgia or chronic pain, but at least to some form of like pain or discord or ache or discomfort in the body. So I would see how you deal with like sitting and doing nothing, and the response that you get out of that can tell you pretty quickly like what kind of inner work needs to be done, and if there's any if like there's any like inner pain that it's asking you to look at that we don't want to look at.
So how long did it take you from figuring out, okay, the medicine is really not working for me, from that to say, okay, I'm going to go do natural stuff? And how long did that process actually took you to figure out, okay, this is actually working for me? Because I'm assuming you've done a lot of things and most of the things probably didn't work. So you found something that actually worked for you.
Yeah, so
what was that
meditation
process like?
definitely worked, but it's a process that takes time. I would say it took a good 2.5 years to get to a point of feeling stable and like I was okay and I could start rebuilding my life and I wasn't going to have these constant setbacks or anxiety or depression or chronic pain or any of the other things that I was dealing with at that point in my life. So that is a considerable amount of time, but also the trial and error of figuring things out, of going through like that deeper level of inner healing and like learning to meditate effectively, learning how to cultivate daily practices, learning how to make like specific dietary changes, and just getting into a new mindset and new routine. Sometimes that kind of complete transformation can easily take a couple of years. While it may seem like a super long time, psychologically, the mind does not like to change super fast. So you do need to give the mind time to like acclimate and adapt to something that's completely new for it. And my lifestyle went from being a research scientist, married and raising kids, to not having any of that stuff on my plate at all and having to figure out how to reinvent my career and what I wanted to do for a living and what I wanted to do about presenting this message about healing naturally. And just it was like a clean slate for me. I had to like start over like from rock bottom and rebuild everything from the ground up.
So did you kind of know about this information before you came into, how did you find out about this? Did you do like Google research, or do you know somebody who had done this?
I did know about meditation and mindfulness prior to becoming ill. I was already on this trajectory towards, I guess, self-discovery, self-growth, spiritual practice and development. And so it gave me something to lean into more and to learn more about when I really needed it. So when the Western medical system and sciences weren't working for me, which was like a slap in the face since I was working as a research scientist, it enabled me to lean more like into my faith and into the spiritual side and into the things that are less understood by science, because it's incorporating the soul aspect into it. And of course, we can't quantify a soul, so it can't be taken into account in Western medicine. So I really was forced to lean into that fully, to explore, to deepen my knowledge, but mostly to deepen my practice. Like, because you have to actually do these things and you have to live them and you have to become them. So I had ample time and space to do that over those 2.5-ish years that it took me to like really rebuild and get to a point of stability, like to start saying, yeah, I can rebuild my life.
Is there any kind of science and data behind this, or is it really depends on person to person?
I think that there is definitely more data and evidence now that shows how much mindfulness and meditation helps. They've definitely shown how these things even help, like with the microbiome in the gut, which is really linked. That is like linked to mood. It's linked to mental health. It's linked to everything good. So we think about our microbiome and digesting food, but recently science has started to understand more that most of the serotonin in the body, which is like a brain hormone for happiness, is actually created in the gut based on what you eat. So 90% of that is created based on the foods that you are eating. So in addition to like dietary changes, which can help you like build your microbiome, get more probiotics and prebiotics, that's super important. But science also knows now that a poor mood, mindset, fear, negativity, anger, discord, all of that stuff can act to kill your microbiome in your gut, which will then conversely go to make your mood worse. So you have negative things and experiences. It's kind of this negative feedback loop that actually affects the system in your body, which is then going to have a direct negative impact on your mindset and your mood. And so whenever like your microbiome is affected, you're not creating the proper hormones in your body that you need for mood, like for good digestion, for regulation. Your cortisol is apt to spike, your stress hormone. And that, of course, affects other hormone production and causes you to gain weight or not be able to lose it. Again, this kind of cycle of negative stuff that is going on. So there is a lot more evidence now about how being happy, having a good positive mindset, it affects all of these different systems in the body in either a very positive way or in a very negative way. So if you want to stay healthy, it is really super important to learn how to control your thoughts, your moods, your perceptions about life.
So happy thoughts, happy life.
It sounds like super simple, but yes, it goes both ways. So we can do the things like through eating the right foods and of course, other things like exercise that help to build and cultivate these things, which is good. Or you can just cultivate like feeling good naturally through other ways, maybe mindfulness, meditation, whatever it is that like works for you, and get like the same physical benefits out of it. I think it's really useful when people take both ends of the spectrum and put them together. Like, that you need to have a healthy microbiome in the gut. You need to have a healthy mindset. So try to tackle it from a bunch of different directions at the same time, because then you have your bases covered. I mean, we can't feel happy all the time. We do have negativity and discord that comes up in life. You're going to have stress in the workplace. You're going to have issues that arise. You're going to have relationship drama because we are just human beings. So there's always things that you can do to help to counterbalance that through your actions, your exercise, your diet, your daily practices, which help kind of put a blanket over it and keep things on an even keel. And then when things are better, you can lean more into like the really positive things and, just like really focusing on the good things in your life and then building that positivity even more.
Right. Talk to me a little bit about sleeping habits, because for personally me, I go to sleep about 1-2 o'clock in the morning and wake up at 8 o'clock, which I don't think that's healthy at all. What is your process like?
I have never slept incredibly well. And honestly, at this point in my life, it is my number one focus and priority. Like, I am super hyper vigilant focused on my sleep right now and trying to get like a really, really, really good night's sleep, because it does affect your concentration, your mood, your mindset, everything that's going on in the body. Like, if you can get a good night's sleep, if you can have work-life harmony where you feel stable in what it is that you're doing for your career, but you also have the time and the space necessary to pursue the things that are of personal interest to you. Honestly, like most things are set. You have to sleep well, you have to eat well, you have to have harmony, like good. I like the word harmony, not balance, because nothing's ever going to be in balance in life, but we can try to create a good harmony and synergy between everything. But yeah, for me, I have found sleep is super duper important. If you don't sleep well, it's really hard to stay positive. At least that's what I found for me. What has your experience been like with that?
Honestly, I'm not sure, because I don't think it affects me at all. Then again, I have no idea, because I do this every day. So maybe I should try to sleep well and then see what the difference is.
But even though you have a sleep schedule that you're going to bed super late, maybe you're sleeping really well during the time you are asleep.
That's probably true. Yeah, I've been told like I'm a very deep sleeper, so that probably doesn't affect me. I mean, I wake up like I had a Red Bull like 5 minutes before I woke up, so I wake up very energetic.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it matters when you go to bed, as long as you get a good solid, like few hours of sleep in there and you're sleeping deep, you're doing what you need to do to take care of your health. Like that's the most important thing. I mean, if
What's the
people
first
want
thing you do when you wake up? And then is there anything you do before you go to sleep?
Yeah, the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is actually chant some mantras in my mind. And I always also say that, hey, this is going to be an amazing day and I'm going to wake up, feel great, and I'm just going to have an amazing day. I'm going to accomplish everything I want to accomplish, and I'm going to feel good and happy throughout the day. That is the first thing I do when I wake up. A lot of times before I open my eyes or anything, I'm just laying in bed. I start bringing that positive energy into my life. And the very first thing I do when I actually get up, I have a whole like mantra playlist that I play in the morning just to kind of get some positive energy in the background as I start my day. When I end my day every single night, I always contemplate about what happened during the course of the day. I have a whole like sleep routine now. I have like tea that I have before I go to bed, like more natural stuff to help induce sleep. I take time to journal and write. I take a lot of time to just sit and contemplate, reflect on my day, and to try to let go of everything and focus on something positive.
Tell me a little bit about your experience, but like your family experience. Do you have to like usually talk to them and then tell them, hey, this is what I'm doing. I don't want anything crazy, because we all have those crazy people in our life. Like, how do you deal with that? Like that crazy friend, always negative for doing something. How do you deal with something like that?
Honestly, I don't actually have family outside of my kids. I was an only child, and my parents, my grandparents, all of my relatives passed away when I was 18 and 19. So I like literally lost everyone in about a 10-month time span. So
Oh,
I
wow.
don't have people that I have to like report to or that are going to criticize or be judgmental about things. I was left essentially on my own to my own devices. And when I went through this transition with fibromyalgia, everyone that was currently in my life vanished. I had to like completely like rebuild my friend circle, which I kept pretty small, especially at that point, kind of controlling the energy that comes into your sphere. Like you said, not watching
Right.
horror movies, not letting in fear. I really wanted to control the place I was in as I was healing. So I just cultivated a handful of like closer friends and people that I wanted to be connected with. So I was able to invite people into my life that I felt were more accepting and not non-judgmental. So in that way, I am very blessed because I don't have to deal with that type of negativity in my life, honestly, at all. And I think now, because it has been such a long time, like 15, 16 years, I just I don't allow that type of energy to come into my sphere. If someone wants to be critical, I'm definitely the sort of person who's going to stand up and say something about it, or just not really put energy into that sort of a friendship.
Yeah. How do you stay consistent? Because a lot of, even me personally, like if
Mm-hmm.
I start something saying, okay, I'm gonna be eating healthy, or I'm gonna stay exercise, or I'm gonna be, doing
Yes.
meditation. How do you stay consistent? That is the toughest thing uh,
It is.
for anyone, I think.
Small, consistent routines. So I don't try to do 5 different things at once. It's not like I need to eat better, I need to go to the gym, I need to meditate. You start one routine and you should stay consistent on that routine for a minimum of 6 to 8 weeks before you try to bring something else into your life. And by small, I mean that routine needs to be something that's probably not taking more than 10 to 15 minutes of your day. The routine should also be something that makes you feel good. So you know how most of us create New Year's resolutions, or at least have at some point in
Right.
our life? The reason why 9 out of 10 of those fail, or probably statistically a little bit more of that, is because we're always trying to create these routines to do things that we know we should do, but that we don't want to do and that we failed at before. So then what happens? You don't really want to do it, so you fail at it again. The secret to creating routines that are successful for you are to implement routines of things that you actually enjoy doing. So these simple things, like I talked about, starting my day with a cup of tea, that's something enjoyable. I like the taste of the tea. I like the time I'm taking for myself. I like the process of making it. These are things that actually build some joy and abundance in my life. It's something that I tangibly enjoy. It does not take much time to actually make the tea, to consume the tea. Within 15 to 20 minutes, that whole routine is done. And then I go on with my day. So it's short. It's something that can be put into a very specified amount of time. And it's something that I enjoy. I think that those are the two secrets to creating successful routines. Do something that you really enjoy, not that you feel that you have to do. Because once you start developing consistency with things that you like, you're going to have so much more positive momentum. You're going to be able to take some of that positive momentum and start implementing it into the areas of your life of the things you don't want to do. Like maybe going to the gym or eating less or eating the right type of foods, those things which have been a struggle. If you don't have those inner reserves of happiness and joy to pull from, where are you going to get that energy to do those things?
Right.
And it's one of those things that most people, they don't even think about, because like we live our lives on autopilot. You wake up, you go to work, you come home, you get dinner ready, you're cooking, you're cleaning, you're taking care of your family, wash, rinse, repeat, go to bed, start over. But taking just that little bit of time to put some consciousness into doing something that you really enjoy will go a very long way for not just being happy, but giving you that positive momentum to go do other good things in your life that are not as easy.
Yeah, do you think there's a big effect in our life where we live? I'll give you an example. I grew up in Sri Lanka, and we didn't really have to think about thinking positive or positive energy, because I felt like the lifestyle there was very different. People automatically had that. Like, we had trees, we had mountains, it's just basically
nature.
people are happy nature. Exactly. Yeah. So when I'm in LA. This is not, I think New York is worse than LA. LA is, we have a little bit of hiking going on. We have the ocean. So it's a little bit better. But, people who live in these huge cities, I guess, how do we have a positive life as much as the people who live in like nature?
Yeah, because nature is this reserve of all this positive energy, which is around us all the time. So we can create these little micro environments in our own world that radiate positive energy. And there's different ways to do that. Some people work with like feng shui or vastu, which is like an Indian equivalent of that. You can work to build positive energy in your home through its layout, what you have in it. You can work to make this micro environment of positivity through creating the daily routines and structure in your life. Focusing on cultivating a healthy and fulfilling relationship is a good way to create that micro environment for you. I always recommend getting into nature, even if you're out in the big city here, like New York City. Go take a walk in one of the parks, go walk by the river, really get outside, get some fresh air. That stuff is super important for you. But the more like small things and structure and routine and the places where you can inject positivity, it will then radiate outward into everything else that is in your life. That's the thing. Positivity likes to spread. It's not going to stay isolated or confined. So the more small things that you can do on a daily, consistent basis, you're going to find that has like a lasting outsized impact on you. But yeah, I think where you live and where you grow up completely matters. And you also need to find the place that resonates with you and kind of resonates with your energetic signature. Like New York City works really well for me because it's a very fast-paced city and I'm a very fast-paced individual. So I love it here. Yeah, I got to get outside. I got to get out into nature, but I also live like right on the river. So I have this like right here. I'm like 5 minutes. I'm down at beautiful parks with a river view. So it's like I can get away from the city very quickly where I'm at too.
Nice. So what's new for you? By the way, I'm super glad you're feeling fine now, and I really appreciate your message. I listened to your TikTok probably about 10, 15 times. I think everybody should. Such a positive message. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's a lot of these things are super simple. I mean, they're not easy, but they're simple. It's in that if you just have the consistency and you develop the consistency on a daily basis, these things literally will change your life. Like that is the power of mindfulness, of meditation, of making dietary changes. Whenever you change your life, even like a fraction of a percent, over time, it's going to be like moving mountains in your life, like the difference in the effect it's going to have on you. So I just can't emphasize enough the importance of those small, simple, consistent changes. Even if it's as little as 5 minutes a day that you're changing consistently every day, you're going to be a drastically different person several months down the road.